Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today's pick a card is for those of you who are simply tired of rooting for the anti-hero. And if you don't understand that reference, it's a Taylor Swift song. Essentially, who this pick a card is for are just people who have this part of yourself that tends to sabotage you. The intention of this reading is really to get to know this part of yourself, because if you think that you tend to be critical towards yourself, that you tend to sabotage yourself, this isn't you. Okay? This is a part of you. There's a difference there. There's the you, yourself, with a capital S, and then you have different parts of yourself. And this is really essentially me basing this on parts work by Richard Schwartz. Richard Schwartz believes that we all have different parts of ourselves. We don't have just like this one mind that our culture has led us to believe. And so that's why we feel so discombobulated, not only with like our society, but like even with our own selves. And so through parts work, which is the approach that I'm going to take this pick a card in. Although I am going to also leave it kind of open to see what guidance that you have from your spirit guides, from your higher self, whatever I end up tapping into. This is kind of my approach anyway when it comes to coaching and tarot readings. Basically, we're going to get to know who this part of yourself is that tends to sabotage you, or whatever the situation is for you. In the first part of the pick a card reading, I will lay out some cards to see how you feel, who is this anti-hero, what archetype, and basically if you resonate with that part of the video, then that's how you know that it's for you. If not, then maybe you chose the wrong pile, even though, as Chloe Taylor always says, you will never really choose the wrong pile. If you chose something, then there must be a message for you there, but also don't stretch it. Sometimes we choose the wrong pile. Whatever. So yeah, who is this anti-hero? What does it like to do? And how do you feel towards this part? So hopefully that's how you know that it's going to be for you. And then we're going to ask for guidance from your spiritual team, from your higher self, from the universe, whoever you resonate with. What's the guidance for you? And then we are going to go from there, basically. From the guidance of your spirit guides, could just end there. We could pull some more cards to get some more clarity around it. Or we could also go into this part of the reading, which is to extend compassion towards this part of yourself. So I want us to have an understanding about where this part is coming from. What is its intentions towards you and yourself? And what does this part of yourself want to say to you? And so, yeah, that is the reading. That is such a long explanation. Thank you so much for sitting through this. And let's get into the section where you can pick your group. Okay, so here are the selections of the groups. For group number 1, we have this amethyst. Group number 2, we have, I think this is the moss agate. You really can't see the glory of this crystal. Even a nice camera won't do that. Group number 3, we have the tree agate, I think. I always get these two twisted. Anyway, here's group number 3. So, go ahead and choose your group. As always, use your intuition. If you know your authority in human design, if you have a sacral authority, then I recommend you I feel like you already know. Maybe even from before you clicked onto this video, you already know what your group is. Just follow where your body leans towards, or which one, like, quite literally pulls you in. It can be quite subtle. So, yeah, ground yourself a little bit and pay attention to which one your body feels like quite literally drawn towards. If you have an emotional authority on human design, then give yourself more time and space to meditate on the groups and go through the roller coaster of your emotions and don't jump into conclusions. Basically, don't jump and don't, if you're feeling impatient and you just want to click something and you have an emotional authority, that's when you know that you shouldn't choose. Ground yourself and then choose your group. So, without further ado, let's get on with group number 1. Hi there, group number 1. If you chose this amethyst, this pile, this number, whatever, then this is going to be the reading for you. Let's have a look at the first card that we have, which represents your anti-hero, or the part of yourself that is kind of causing you some trouble and what that trouble is. So, I have the cards here. I haven't looked at them. I pre-shuffled them. Anyway, group number 1. Let's see what the first card is. Oh, can't see. The Kiss. Okay, so this is the archetype of your anti-hero. And then, let's see, how does it sabotage you? Justice. Wow, very interesting. Okay. Very interesting so far, group number 1. And then how do you feel towards it? You feel contempt. You feel contempt towards this part of yourself. And then we also have, I'm not gonna look. Trying not to look. This is the guidance, but let's open that later. Let's see what the Kiss represents in this case for you. Okay, the kiss, the touch, the chemistry, the sex. Oh, before a first kiss, the air is electrified. Let's have a look at the card as well. Each breath is alive with the possibility and magic. What will their lips be like? Their tongue? Do they want me in return? The archetypal energy of the kiss is a heightened sensation of merging with other, of letting in what was moments ago separate. Two become one. It is risky but beautiful business. These moments forever change us as we move past the solitary self toward union and acceptance. This card suggests true intimacy is around the corner, which requires bravery and surrender. When the kiss takes a non-human form, it may be experienced as touching the sacred, hearing a whisper, or being graced by a divine being. You will recognize the presence of the kiss by cold hills and an awakening of the heart. So when dark, neediness, pressure, dominance, and disrespect. When light, sensual expressiveness, merging, inviting. So, group number 1. What this card tells me is that because of how this part of yourself, it sabotaged, the card representing what kind of sabotage it does to you is justice. I feel like you are feeling like things are basically just unfair. Like, this is kind of giving victim mentality. This is giving... And I really don't like that, actually. I don't like kind of calling people out when they have victim mentality, because I also have that within myself. And I feel like with the kiss, there is this part of yourself that just longs for connection. There's this part of yourself that maybe you feel like you struggle more in the love department, in the romance department, and you feel kind of isolated. You feel like you are just overall disconnected. And I feel like this is so in line with parts work, because, you know, when you are not aware of the parts of yourself, you feel disconnected. And you kind of, well, in this case, this card suggests that, you know, contempt. You feel contempt towards it, so you are kind of like resentful towards this part of yourself, because it makes you just so disconnected. Like, you may struggle connecting with other people. Like I said, you may struggle in the love department, but even if not, it doesn't have to be. Just because, you know, you tend to kiss like a romantic partner or a romantic interest or whatever that is, but it doesn't have to be romance. It can also be friendship. It can be... yeah, it can be anything, to be honest. There's so many different kinds of relationships and intimacies. There's not only one kind, right? So if you're okay in the love department and you're like, this is not for me, this group may still be for you if you feel that, you know, sense of injustice in the world. You feel like everything is unfair. And this is kind of the voice of this part of yourself. Okay? So that's what you need to know. This is basically what everyone needs to know. This isn't special to you, group number one. But yeah, there's this part of yourself that feels needy. That feels like you need to latch on to other people, and that you can't be alone. You can't be by yourself. And you are just longing. You're just longing for connection. And I feel you, group number one. This is kind of, you know, the phase of my life as well. I'm I'm also in that phase where I'm like deprived of connection. But yeah, this is basically this part of yourself. So let's move on for now. And hopefully everything else will make sense as we pull cards as well for guidance for you. I mean, I already pulled the card. The main card of guidance for you is... I can't see. Okay. It's Gemini. It's a Gemini sun. I love this energy, obviously. Curiosity, intellect, and networking. Okay, so very, very clearly, this is just so far so in line. So in line with the theory of parts work. So the guidance from the universe, from your guides, from your higher self, whoever you feel connected to right in this moment, or in general, the guidance is for you to really get curious, to learn. Maybe your guides, I'm just gonna say guides, but, you know, insert whatever you resonate with. I think you are being called to check out this book. No Bad Parts by Richard Schwartz. This is about parts work, healing trauma, and restoring wholeness with the internal family systems model. So, like I said, the IFS is kind of the approach. I'm not trained or anything. I'm a Gemini, so I like learning. So I'm someone who just like self-studies, but it is kind of, it really informs the approach that I have towards my work, you know, with tarot reading, with coaching. Basically, you are being called to really get curious towards this part of yourself. So in this book, it has like a bunch of exercises for you to practice and kind of like get in touch with this part of yourself that feels so connected, that disconnected, feels so alone. Like, look at this. Look at this figure inside, right? I feel like that is the part of yourself that sabotages you. You're being called to be curious. Why? Where is this part coming from? How did you start doing this to me? I mean, this is you conversing with that part of yourself. You know, get to know that part. And yeah, read up about parts work, about the internal family systems, maybe read up about shadow work as well. I feel like it's very adjacent. All these things just kind of like called different things. But tune into that Gemini energy. Gemini energy is very much, you know, curiosity, using the intellect, and maybe even, I mean, this is going to be difficult for you because in this card it does say networking, and Gemini is, you know, the stereotype is that Gemini is quite an extroverted kind of energy. And I was going to say that you could learn more about yourself through relationships, through connecting with other people, through talking to other people, communicating with other people. That's going to give you clues to yourself, to get to know yourself. And I understand that this is going to be difficult for you because that is exactly what your sabotaging part of yourself prevents you from doing, right? So be aware that you have this part of yourself within you, right? And you try to separate yourself from it, right? When at first you're like enmeshed, right, with all these parts of yourself, which it is you, but also it's a different part of you. It's so hard to explain. Meditation might help if you don't have that practice yet, because meditation really helps you kind of like separate, you know? The way that I think about it is like, with these sabotaging part of myself, I try to separate myself from it, and I try to kind of look at it as a way to separate. And like, you can converse with this part of yourself, get to know it. Because why don't we do that now? I forgot that I'm meant to be doing this as well. That's my intention. I'm going to use the Small Spells Tarot. This is a gift from my client, Jess. I don't know if you're actually comfortable with me saying that, but I think you are. Thank you so much. If you're also interested in giving me gifts, then I have my wish list down below. Yeah, because if you gift me a deck, we can have fun with it. We can, I can use it, you know? I can pull some cards for you using it. Anyway, let's actually let's have some clues. Where is this part coming from? What is this part trying to do for you? I can kind of say in the general sense, but let's see if we have anything specific. I don't know why I laughed. 6 of Pentacles is all about connection. It's about give and take. Wow. Very interesting, because Six of Pentacles is about... I already said that. So I guess this is the distortion, you know? This part of yourself is somehow thinking that by preventing you from connecting with other people, this is their way of giving back to you. This is their way of, like, taking care of you. This part of you wants to take care of you. However, this part doesn't know that it's doing it in a way that actually isn't very helpful, you know? Because what heals you is by connecting with other people, but it's preventing you from doing that. Ace of Swords. What was even the question? What was my question? Where is it coming from? Ace of Swords. Yeah, so there's a lot of air. The element of air here with Ace of Swords, Gemini, Libra with Justice. Justice is Libra energy. Libra is air. Element of air. So there's a lot of headiness. There's a lot of... here, you know, the mind. So it is coming from the mind. It's the distorted mind, you know? That's where it's coming from. So, how are we going to end this reading? Okay. So yeah, just to kind of summarize everything. There is a part of yourself that is preventing you from connecting to other people. And this part of yourself is kind of creating this story that, you know, this is just kind of how life is. Life is just unfair towards you. And when you engage with this story, that is distancing yourself even further and further and further from connection, which is oddly, like, that's what this part of you wants. And also it's like scared of it. But I think you were hurt from the past. You tried to connect with someone, it didn't work. And so this distorted part starts to dominate you. And you think that this is yourself, but it's not. This is only a part of you. And so get curious with Gemini and intellect. Interestingly, approach this with more of your logic instead of your heart. If there's a lot of emotion, then do take the time and space to honor that, because emotions usually trump logic. And so when you try to logic your way out of it, it's not going to work. So do that first. Honor the emotions, right? Honor the contempt. Notice that feeling. And then try to approach this with logic. Try to kind of challenge the truth of these stories. Is it really true? How can you look at this story in a different way? How can you look at the opposite of this unfairness, of you not having a romantic partner yet, of you still really struggling to form deep connections with other people? Try to challenge that story and approach it with more of a logical sense. And yeah, the solution lies within connection with other people. But again, I understand it's hard because there's a part of you that's trying to prevent you from doing that. So if you have reached this part of the video, and if you haven't clicked the like button, please. That's the least that you can do. It's going to be really helpful if that's all you can do. I offer private tarot readings. I also offer one-on-one coaching to reparent yourself. I can help you with this sort of work, to integrate this part of yourself, to learn how to connect with other people, And we do that through parts work, reparenting yourself. If you're interested, links are down below. You can email me, tikaishuman@gmail.com, if you have any questions. I also offer free Break the Cycle game plan if you want to break out of this really confusing cycle, right? That you need other people, but something within you is preventing you from doing that. And then there's these stories, and I offer a free 30-minute call. We can come up with a more firm game plan, because there's only so much that I can offer from a general reading. Like, this isn't just for you individually, this is for a lot of different people. So I have that as well. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. This is such an honor for me to be reading for you. And yeah, hopefully see you soon. Bye! Hello there, group number 2. If you chose this crystal, then this is going to be the reading for you. So, I've got a couple of pre-shuffled cards over here, and let's reveal them together. I haven't looked, I promise. Sometimes I wish I could look so that I can pre-think about it. But anyway, let's see. I got a little sneak peek. It's still legit. Oh, this is a spicy one. The Bardo. Okay. And then we have the Ace of Wands. And then this is how you feel towards your sabotaging. Rage. This is rage, right? No, it's revenge. Whoa. Okay, you feel very angry towards this. And then this is the guidance. House 2. Physical security, possessions, material values, and self-worth. Okay, so you know that you are in the right reading if you struggle a lot with anger. If you also have this really kind of self-deprecating part of you, maybe that's your kind of humor, you like to kind of make fun of yourself. You also have a really dark outlook on yourself, your life, towards other people. This is just really reminding me of my own energy when I was younger, when I used to be all doom and gloom, basically. And there's just a lot of pent up energy within me that really wants to be expressed, but I learned that that is dangerous to be doing that. To be fair, I wasn't really expressing it in the healthiest of ways. And I don't blame my younger self for that, because she didn't know how to express it. She didn't learn how to do it. She was just absorbing the people around her on how they themselves face those difficult emotions. So you are tired of this really angry part of yourself. I feel like this is giving me a sort of similar energy. I don't know if some of y'all have watched my previous videos. I can't really pinpoint which video this energy is reminding me of, but I feel like I've read something quite similar. So yeah, I guess it's just a confirmation if you have watched any of my older videos and you resonate with this, you resonated with that one, and So anyway, so the Bardo, let me double check the book. I've actually seen this card quite a few times, but I haven't pulled it in a long time, so let me just double check. The liminal in between transition. It is said that the Bardo is a place between this life and the next, a liminal realm through which souls pass. Let me just read it out to you, actually. Envisioning this inherently mysterious space creates the potential for us to rise above the concerns of this world and see our relationships through a cosmic and timeless lens. We may receive messages from those who are no longer with us or see visions of lives not yet lived. So I feel like this part of you, this energy, is actually something that is kind of passed on from your ancestors, from family members. Maybe this is something that runs through your family, this kind of anger. Again, this is so reminding me of my own situation and my own family. But maybe we have a very similar story. In the Bardo, there is potential to forgive the unforgivable, to say the unsaid, to see the unseen, to love the unloved. Yeah, I have definitely pulled this card before in one of my readings on YouTube. To let go of all the things that cause us pain. The Bardo suspends us in its spaciousness for just long enough to open us to higher wisdom. Its energy does not belong to Earth as we know it, but rather to the cosmic network of which we are a single thread. When dark, torment, dislocation, hallucination, transience. When light, spaciousness, grace, forgiveness, truth. Yeah, so since this is talking a lot about the liminal, the Bardo is the liminal, is the in-between, is the transition. Whether you realize this or not, you are very connected to other realms, to the spiritual realm. You may or may not know this, but you're psychic as hell. You're psychic as hell. Again, you may or may not know this. You are also just very tuned in. You're very tuned in to the subtle realms. And so, with the Ace of Wands as the card representing what it does. When light, this part of you actually gives you a lot of creativity. It gives you a lot of ideas, inspiration. It's really weird, isn't it, how that really positive, quote unquote, part of yourself, when it is dark, when you are not aware of it, when you have exiled it, when you don't accept it, it turns into that darkness, into that anger. When actually when you accept it, it becomes inspiration. It becomes your sense of direction. It becomes your sense of perspective. It's your sense of just your life force. This is just really reminding me, this whole thing is really reminding me of Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Again, one of my favorite characters, maybe ever, but definitely in the show, he's my favorite because I totally relate to him. I feel like he is the ultimate character representation of myself. But like I said from before, this energy really reminds me of my younger self. So again, I think we just might have a very similar story. Anyway, so this reminds me of Zuko, because if you're not familiar with Avatar The Last Airbender, first of all, you need to be familiar with it. But basically, you know, Zuko is kind of portrayed as the bad guy. He is a firebender that once is all about fire. Look at this, right? He's a firebender and he's just so angry all the time and he's so vengeful. Revenge. Like, he rightly so is very angry at his father who exiled him. And so he uses this force basically to force his way out of everything to gain honor in his life. And basically by the end, this is gonna be spoilers by the way, which if you haven't seen it, it's so good when you find this out. But anyway, I need to communicate this to you. But basically by the end, he kind of turned around. He turned around and he basically wants to be friends with his enemies. And then basically when he turned around, he's very good, by the way, with firebending. He's amazing for a 16-year-old. He's so powerful for a 16-year-old. When he turned around, he couldn't firebend anymore. He couldn't bend anymore. It just kind of stopped. And then basically the reason why is because he was using his anger to fuel his powers, you know? And when that anger is gone, when he starts accepting, right? He starts accepting, he starts forgiving himself, his father, you know, everything in his life. That anger dissipates, right? That anger is gone. And so there's no more power. And so basically the last season, his journey is like trying to find that power again. Like, where is he going to get this power from? So anyway, my point is that, you know, this is why I love tarot and archetypes and things like that, because there's always two sides, right? When this angry part of you, when it's dark, when it's distorted, when you are acting out of anger, acting out of fear, when those emotions aren't acknowledged, it becomes this really angry energy and it's expressed in a really unhealthy way. When actually, if you accept it, I already said this, it becomes inspiration. And so with revenge, you feel really angry towards this part of you because maybe it has sabotaged your relationship. It made you lose things, people. And so you just want to get back to it, right? You wish that you could just eat this part of you alive. Maybe it has betrayed you. And you felt like you've betrayed yourself. That's rough, buddy. As for guidance, we have house 2, as I have already mentioned. Physical security, possessions, material values, and self-worth. Oh my god, I haven't even mentioned that this deck is very kindly gifted by my bestie. I know that you're watching this video. Maybe you even chose this group. I'm not surprised if you did. But this is one of my newest decks, Heavenly Bodies. This is gifted by my lovely friend. It's so beautiful. Anyway, I'm very excited. Oh, you can see the title. Very excited to be using this, so I am definitely going to check out the guidebook. So pretty. House 2. There's a lot on here, but let's just read the omen. Material assets are necessary to survive and thrive, but at what point does this dependence become imbalanced? At what point does it become materialism? Perhaps you have placed too much value on material accumulation for fear you are not enough. You're being reminded that you are enough, naked as you come. And the body is your most valuable possession as your vessel to experience the physical plane. Your soul is the driver and your body the car. More than that, your body loves you and wants to serve you. It's a gift and your friend to take care of. Engage in extra self-care, healthful foods to nourish, and breath work and movement to inspire flow and release. See? Didn't I already mention that? Did I mention that? I don't think I did, but I was thinking of telling you that, this energy, oh my god, this energy really needs to flow. It needs to be, if you want to express it in a healthy way, if you want to honor your emotions, it can be expressed through movement. And that's how you let these emotions flow. And we honor it instead of trying to get rid of it. Instead of trying to turn it into the enemy. Because that's what happens. I think this is what you've been doing, right? You've been seeing this anger as the enemy. When anger is okay. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to feel these feelings. Anyway, caring deeply for your physical form will not only enhance your life force, I already said the life force thing, but also become a long-term practice in deepening your self-worth. Yeah, I think this card suggests that you feel really insecure about yourself, about maybe even your body. This is all about security and self-worth. So I think this is an area that you are being called to pay attention to. Maybe check out House 2 on your birth chart. And it's going to leave you with some clues over there, depending on if there are any planets in there. It can give you some clues as to how to heal this, how to come into relationship with this part of yourself. And yeah, this is all about establishing physical security. So you may even be, this all may even manifest into like feeling insecure about your finances. Maybe you hustle your way to feel secure within yourself, when you are going to achieve that when you fix the relationship with yourself, fix that sense of self-worth. Maybe fix is not really the right word that I want to use personally, because I feel like that kind of suggests that you're kind of broken, when I don't think any of us are broken. Although I can totally feel you if you feel broken. Yeah, so this is really, honestly, this really is the work that I do. I help people to strengthen their sense of self-worth and find that self-trust within yourself, cultivating self-trust. If you watch my videos, you might already know this. Cultivating that self-trust, and so that you feel grounded within yourself and you don't need external things to ground you, to make you feel secure. And I do recognize that external things, people, things, places, whatever, it does have a role. You know, if you work with me in one-on-one coaching, the work that we're doing here is so that you can find it within yourself and you are not bounded anything else. So if that sounds interesting, email me, tikaishuman@gmail.com. Information is in the description down below. And group number 2, if you have reached this part of the video and you haven't clicked the like button, please do give it a like. It's going to be really, really helpful. By you liking the video, it really helps me to get my work out there, gets my videos to a lot more people's hearts. You are helping me with my mission to break intergenerational cycles and create a more compassionate world. This is why I am doing this particular reading, because my goal here is for you to accept yourself, to recognize that there are parts of you that are hurting, and instead of trying to get rid of it, you integrate it within yourself, and that actually creates more love and compassion within yourself, and that means you are also more compassionate towards others, and it's going to create a ripple effect in the world. If you are interested in working with me one-on-one, then I offer free discovery calls if you would like to get to know my offerings, and we can chat. Okay? Also, private tarot readings, of course. Also, link is down below. You just need to order on coffee.com. See you on the next one. Bye. Hello, group number 3. If you chose this crystal, then this is going to be the reading for you. Let's check out the cards together. Oh, I don't think I've ever had this one. The Destroyer. Okay. The Destroyer. And next, the Two of Wands. I'm surprised because group number 2 was also a wand card. Next card, this is how you feel towards this part of yourself. I can't see. Integrity. Very interesting. And the guidance for you, this is the card that I've already seen, is Cancer. Nurture, comfort, and protection. Let's have a look at the book. Never pulled this card before. The Destroyer. The Destroyer. The Savage. The Unexpected. The Rejected. Yep. The Destroyer. The final of the 3 archetypes in the trio of existence. Whoa. Has necessary yet painful work to do in the world. Culturally, we have an aversion to endings, and we hang on to permanence as a signifier of success. Yet, the Destroyer pulls the rug out from underneath relationships, jobs, homes, and all forms of security. It's the part of us that wants things to end. So you may be someone who is very non-committal, and you may feel like a lot of things don't really last in your life. Let's continue reading. Its painful orientation is to uncover our true purpose. The destroyer does not let us linger long in comforts, as it knows not much happens in that realm. With its piercing eyes, it seeks out stagnancy from a distance, and the rest becomes history. In the old myths, this is the moment when heads begin to roll, the ground opens up, and castles crumble. Hold on for the ride, the destroyer has arrived. Oh. So when dark, self-destruction, negativity, unwillingness to rebuild. In old tales, the destroyer sometimes appears as a black dog. Other times it takes the form of gods and goddesses, such as Shiva, Kali, and Apophis. You feel like things just never work out in your life. I feel like that's a bit aggressive. I mean, this is literally the theme of the reading, but like you keep sabotaging everything good in your life. Every time you build the foundations of something, whether that be, relationships, jobs, homes, these things that make up this sense of security, there is a part of you that just wants to destroy it. I mean, like the book is saying, to just end things. And it's very interesting that you feel integrity towards this part of yourself. Let me pull another card. How else does group number 3 feel about the destroyer within themselves? How else do they feel integrity? Can you clarify that for me? Get a clarification for feeling of integrity. Confidence. Okay. So interesting, because the other groups, they feel like revenge. I don't even remember what the cards are, but it suggests that they feel negative basically towards their anti-hero, right? And then for you, in your case, your anti-hero is the destroyer in your life. But it's very interesting you feel confident towards this part of you and integrity. So like, why are you here? What do you need to hear? What a mystery. Yeah, like you feel no shame towards the destroyer within you. You feel like this is who you are, right? With integrity. You're not ashamed that, like, you can't keep things for very long. That you... What was the word? Yeah, that negativity. Because when dark, it's negativity, self-destruction, unwillingness to rebuild. So I feel like in a way, like, you really identify with this part of you. Like, yeah, I am the destroyer. Are confident. When other people are scared of endings, you are not. Like, you are all about endings. Wow, I am very confused. Because these are kind of like really positive cards. Because the Two of Wands is all about like manifestation, dreaming. This is about future visioning. But I guess as my intention for this card was to find out what kind of sabotage it does to you. So as a sabotage kind of energy, the Two of Wands, you might feel like you are just never satisfied with where you are in the present moment. So you're always trying to look for the next thing. The next thing. What's the next thing? What's the next thing, right? A lot of things don't really last in your life. As a Gemini myself, I'm not saying that as a bad thing, because I also really struggle myself with building long-lasting things within my life. And since learning about human design and things like that, I've come to learn that, like, it's not a bad thing that I'm, in some cases, quite flaky, quote unquote. But anyway, I don't know if that's kind of like how I'm coming across, but if you did think that, then I'm not saying that if things don't last in your life, then that's not good. So yeah, so you may just feel really unsettled all the time. You may feel just really restless all the time. And if that resonates, then that's the destroyer within you. That is why you feel that way. So the guidance, let's actually look at the guidance here. It's Cancer. And that's interesting because Cancer is a water sign, right? Let's have a look-see. Oh my god, my cat is being so cute. I'm gonna show you. Look! Hi, Potato! I've put look at my messy desk. Anyway, I put this tray thing that I use when I'm in bed, and he's just like sitting on it. He loves squares. He loves sitting on squares. Anyway, let's look at Cancer. I just have to always mention this, but this deck is from the Heavenly Bodies Astrology deck, gifted by my lovely, lovely friend, Dana. I'm so grateful for her, to have her in my life, and also for gifting me this beautiful deck. So pretty! So it's new, so I'm not very familiar with it yet. Let's see. Cancer. This is the Omen. What makes you feel safe and cared for? Journey inward and listen to your needs, as you would a child you love very much. Free write in your journal, giving voice to your child within. Deeper than wants and wishes, at the root of the root, what is it you cry for? Where are you feeling empty, scared, powerless, or deprived? Consider ways to nurture and provide for your inner child and develop a focused daily self-care practice. Becoming your own mother means becoming your own healer. Okay, so I mean that. Do I need to say more about that? The guidance here is to tend to your inner child, is to reparent yourself, becoming your own, the nurturing, kind parent that you never had, if you never had a parent like that. So every time you feel that sense of dissatisfaction when you are anxious, right? Because anxiety is like looking forward too much into the future. So when you feel that way, tune in to your inner child. Tune into the destroyer. I feel like that's kind of the energy that your inner child is embodying, is the destroyer. That is making you feel anxious, making you feel dissatisfied within yourself. Yeah, just like step into that energy of Cancer. Nurturing, comforting, being your own protector. This is the guidance for you. Again, the omen of this card has said it pretty clearly and concisely. If you have reached this part of the video and you haven't clicked the like button, please do click it. It's going to be very helpful for me, because the more that people like it, comment, watch this video, YouTube is going to show it to more and more people, and that would mean that you are helping me with that mission of mine to break intergenerational cycles, to create a more compassionate world. That is what I'm doing with my work as a reparenting coach. If you struggle with the reparenting thing, then I can absolutely help you with that. That is what I do with my clients to help them reparent themselves, being that kind and nurturing and compassionate parent to that part of yourself that needs it, that manifests into things like anger, things like sabotage. That is just a part of you, your inner child, that just needs some softness in their life. You can also book private tarot reading with me. Links are all in the description box down below. Let me know how it resonates with you. I love hearing people's stories in the comments down below, so let me know. And I'll see you again soon. Bye!